just like to show you how to do a double stockinette stitch pattern. I already started on a blanket on a 5mm circular needles, 100 centimeters, and the yarn is Caron cakes from Yarnspirations, and the colour is pumpkin spice. This was about $14 or so. This double stockinette stitch pattern is it's stretchy, right? Very stretchy. It's the same on both sides, so it's reversible. Every row is knitted in the same stitch pattern. It is a multiple of 2 stitches for a cast on, so you're casting on even stitches. It's a thick and dense fabric. It lays flat. It doesn't curl like a normal stockinette stitch. It's a smooth type fabric. What else? It's good for scarves. It's nice and thick. So the thicker the yarn, the thicker your fabric will be. It's good for blankets, which I've started sort of like a Lapghan type. I'm almost finished with 1 yarn ball. That's how much is left. So you'll need a few yarn balls. Now, what you're repeating basically is a, let's see, you slip stitch as if you're going to purl. So you have your yarn in front, put your needle in front, you slip it and you leave your yarn in front. Then you do a knit stitch. And that's all you're repeating. Yarn in front, like purlwise, slip, leave your yarn in front. Knit, slip purlwise, knit, slip purlwise, knit. That's the starting point of your first row, and then you just repeat for every row is the same. So slip purlwise, knit, slip purlwise, knit. This is continental knitting. Slip purlwise, knit. Once you get the pattern going, so you stretch it out, you'll see they're always in 2s. So you slip purlwise, knit, slip purlwise, knit. So you can't really go wrong. Like if you leave your knitting for a while, you can always go back to it. You slip first, purlwise, then you knit. Slip, purlwise, knit. So I'm about halfway. And you just continue. It's a very easy stitch pattern. So slip purlwise, knit. Slip purlwise, knit. You just keep repeating. When you get to the end, your last stitch will be a knit stitch. You turn your work, and your first stitch will be a slip purlwise stitch. Now I give credit to a video on YouTube where I learnt this. The YouTube channel is All Free Knitting, and the video is called How to Knit the Double Stockinette Stitch. You may see in other videos that they do a knit stitch first and a slip first. But from what I've seen, they both give you the same result. So slip purlwise, leave the yarn in front, knit. Slip purlwise, leave the yarn in front, knit. And you just continue with that. As I said, it's a multiples of 2 to cast on, so you're casting on even number of stitches. If you would like more information, you can refer to that video that I just mentioned, that I'm giving credit to, where I learnt it, and explain further if you wish to do so. So slip purlwise, knit next stitch. Slip purlwise, knit. I haven't done any other this is the first time I'm knitting this pattern. I'm doing a Lapghan, so it's not too big, not too long. It's a lot of fun, especially if you're watching TV. You can pick this up, or if you're listening to audio books, it's a good stitch to do. Pull your work down, you pull this side up. It'll be excellent for scarves if you have a thicker yarn. Oh, it's beautiful and squishy. It's a dense fabric. It's hollow inside. So you've got a knit stitch on one side, knit stitch on the other. And it's like a hollow in between. It makes it really dense. If you want to try it, just do a little square, 4x4 square. Sample each yarn thickness. Okay. Coming to the end. So slip purlwise, leave the yarn in front, knit. Slip. Your last stitch will always be a knit stitch. What you do when you come to the end, turn around this way and you bring the other side around like that. So you have your needle so you can knit. In your first stitch, you've got to make sure it's tight. You go under like a pearl, put your yarn in front and you just slip it off. See how it's all loose? Just tighten it a bit. When you do your knit stitch, your second stitch, pull on your yarn. This will tighten the first stitch. And you can use this method for any project. If you want to tighten up your first stitch, you do your second stitch and you pull it tight. It gives you a nice tight first stitch. You slip purlwise, knit. Slip purlwise, knit. Slip purlwise, knit. And because you tightened it, you get a nice edging. See, I did a boo-boo here and it's all loose. So make sure you tighten it by doing the second stitch. And off you go. Slip purlwise, you leave the yarn in front, knit. Slip purlwise, knit. And you just keep repeating the same thing. Slip purlwise, knit. If you'd like to know how to start this off, you can refer to that video that I mentioned. The YouTube channel is All Free Knitting. All Free Knitting, and the video is how to knit the double stockinette stitch, and it will show you how to start it off. And then you just keep continuing. Like I said, once you develop that pattern, see how the stitches are in twos. So you slip purlwise, knit. That's all you repeat. If you have your stitches up close here, see how it just falls off? If it's further down here, you got to pull and so make sure they're up the front. See how I've got one stitch and you forget what stitch it is? This one, you knit. Sometimes you got to stop, actually push this down and push up several stitches. And pick up your yarn and off you go. So slip purlwise, knit. Slip purlwise, knit. That's all you do. Any type of yarn, any type of needle size. It's the same pattern on both sides, so it's reversible. Once you get used to the stitches, you do it pretty quickly. Make sure you use your middle finger and you can hold the stitches in place so they don't slip off the needle. This is continental way of stitching, of knitting. You hold the yarn like you do with your crochet hook. It's a lot quicker, a lot easier. You don't have to throw your yarn. So you get kinky, sort of got to stop. Go to the end and just push it up. It helps. I'm giving credit to this YouTube channel, All Free Knitting, and that's where I learnt this stitch. I'll put a link in the description box below so you can refer it to it. It's a very good explanation of it, easy, simple, short video. The yarn I'm using is Caron cakes from Yarnspirations. In Spotlight they're about $14. It's nice and soft. It's made in Turkey. The colour is pumpkin spice. It's a medium weight. This is in US. Use 5mm knitting needles or a 5mm hook if you want to crochet something with it. It's 80% acrylic and 20% wool. It'll be nice and warm. It's 200 grams. It's approximately 350 meters. And there are 3 patterns, I think. And I think it's a hashtag Caron cakes. You can share your work. It's nice colours. This is the first major project I've done with it. So it's a big long stripes. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colours in one ball. If you do it with the same needle, 5mm, that suits the yarn, this is what comes out of it. Very wide strips. It's a nice yarn to work with. I mostly work with acrylic wool. Make hats with it. Nice and warm. So like I said, if you want more accurate, more information about this double stockinette stitch pattern, please feel free go to All Free Knitting and search for the video how to knit the double stockinette stitch, and there's more information there. Not sure how long this Lapghan I'll make. I'll just keep continuing. I bought 6 balls of yarn cakes, so I'll see how it goes. Now see how I'm running out here. It's harder to pull this down. Make sure it's down a bit so your stitches don't fall off. Go to the end and push it up. Then it all scrunches up and you can push it up on the needle. I love to knit. I do a lot of knitted hats. I use knit stitch, and I stick to a hat pattern that I found which is easy to do. I made lots of hats. I like to use about size 4mm needles, or even 3 to get smaller stitches. Love the way the knitting stitches are sort of like together. It's dense fabric, not like crochet where there's holes and things like that. I learnt knitting maybe 3 years back or something. See, I did a boo-boo. Alright. Put your needle through and take the stitch back. Put your yarn in front. There we go. See, it looks a bit crooked, so you just pick it up and reverse it. No. Okay. That way. Yep. See, it's the second stitch, so you knit it. Mistakes are made, easily corrected. I learnt knitting maybe 2-3 years ago, the proper way. About 8-10 years ago I learnt crochet and I wanted to learn knitting, but it was very hard, the knitting, because using the throw method, and it just would not click in my brain. Then I came across YouTube videos and I found the continental method. God, that sunk in like anything. From that day on, I was knitting everything. Well, not everything, but scarves, hats. I even learned the magic, oh god, now I forget. Where you can knit two material things on one knitting needle. Magic loop method. That's it, magic loop. It's so much fun. You can knit tubes, you know, in the round. Magic loop method. You can do 2 socks at the same time, or a cover for your phone, you know, like a YouTube, like a tube, and stitch the bottom of it. It's a lot of fun. See how quickly this goes? Just slip purlwise, yarn in front, knit. That's all it is to it. Creates this beautiful fabric. Doesn't curl, lays flat. It's thick. The thicker yarn, the thicker the fabric. Beautiful. So, slip purlwise front, knit. Let me know what you think, or if you need or if you have a few questions, you can leave them in the comments. I just unravelled it. It's all bunched up. That happens. I'm not sure what more I can say. Just a repeat of the same 2 stitches all across the row, and next row is the same as well. You're basically repeating 1 row. Well, I think I'll leave it at that. So like and subscribe, even share if you like. Go and check out other video tutorials on double stockinette stitch. Gives you more explanation. I just thought I'd share what I'm doing because I'm really enjoying this. It's a lot of fun. Hope you give it a go. Try out a small swatch with your favourite yarn and needles. It's a lot of fun. Alright. Happy knitting everyone. Bye.